with Jeremy Terhune. He is a co-founder and executive director of Puentes, and he is here with us at Bilingual Weekly to share a little bit of his story. So Jeremy, tell us a little bit more of how were you as a kid, growing up as a child? What were you?
I was involved in everything, I think. Cub Scouts, a lot of sports, enjoyed art a lot, and I was very curious. I loved to be outdoors all the time, climbing trees. Always have this great story that the earthquake in Santa Cruz way back, I was up at the top of a tree when that happened. I remember being in a tree, like hanging on for my dear life with my mom down there looking at me, what? Hold on! So I was a very active child.
Kid.
Yeah.
Now, I know you went to the Peace Corps.
It was through Peace Corps that I found my moment of commitment to what I really wanted to do, making change and being an agent for change in environmental and international development related issues.
Did you visit it?
I was a Peace Corps volunteer in Panama, and I served for 2 years, extended a third year, and then I lived in Panama a fourth year, consulting for different nonprofits.
No, I know you're involved with Puentes, with Friends of the Lower Calaveras River, with Defenders of Wildlife. Is it at the Peace Corps where this environmental passion was born, or where?
My passion for environmental advocacy and conservation actually started back at Chico State. When I was a student there, I actually studied humanities. I have a bachelor's of arts, believe it or not, in humanities. Everybody should study liberal arts. I started, working at the compost education and facility and organic garden at Chico State, processing a lot of the food waste and running a small organic garden. And there was actually a trailer camp across the street, and they started having very low-income families come and ask if they can help with their garden, if I would let them eat some of the food there, because they couldn't afford food up in Chico. And so I started doing that, and I just had a lot of fun. And then I became involved in a second job at an environmental action resource center, where I just basically provided access to information and resources to community members and students curious about, what is the Endangered Species Act, or what, how do certain environmental laws and practices to my neighborhood, or what's going on in my life, or what's going on with air quality in my community, why is the air so bad, what can I do about it, stuff like that, And I just had so much fun that I really grew a passion for it, and within months after graduating, I went straight to the Peace Corps. Yeah.
So what was one of the more remarkable moments once in Panama that you can recall?
Well, there are many remarkable moments in Panama. You're asking me to dig deep now into my memories. Fascinating moment, I guess, was there was a young child in my community that I would play soccer with every day before I, walked down to my little house, which is down a path into the jungle, and really nice family. They lived on about $50 to $100 a month on average, very poor, resource-wise, money. And one day this kid said, "Hey, I want to show you something," and I was like, "What?" He's like, "Watch this." And he took apart a complete little radio and put it all back together without any guidance, and it worked. And it was kind of an aha moment that there were lots of people that really had the talent to improve their lives and their communities, but it was simply a lack of information and resources to move forward, and always repeating the same mistakes again, and I took that kind of idea and started looking at other things people in my community were doing and certain talents that they had, and I was like, gee, if you guys, put this together and, stop worrying about getting the road paved in your village and instead worried about these things, then you could make enough money to pave the road, you know what I'm saying?
Now, I know you brought more than from Panama, but you also brought all of their ideas and ideals, and that's how you founded Puentes.
Yeah, Puentes, born in Panama with myself and a bunch of rural farmers sitting around, discussing development work and how more frequently than not, international development organizations will enter actually in the agricultural sector and agricultural extension work, and they bring their ideas to the community and tell farmers what they need to do, to improve their agriculture and make money. And we were like, well, no, that doesn't really work. Most of the time that falls apart 3 or 4 years after the extensionist is gone, because we become dependent on him, and the technologies we're learning are not based on local resources. They're based on expensive fertilizers that are imported and things like that. And so we really came to the conclusion that change needed to be by and for the people of that area. And so by using appreciative inquiry, we needed to teach people how to experiment and learn on their farms, how to be entrepreneurs and improve their own agriculture in a way that wouldn't be threatening to their farm operations at that point. Just try this crop on half your farm, but what happens if that fails? I lose the little bit of money I was going to get out of that. Start with a small experiment and then innovate.
So then you brought that concept to Stockton and started a community garden.
Yeah. So I mean, basically, aside from community gardens, Puentes is really a development organization, and our goal, more than anything else, is to stimulate a critical, cooperative, and positive attitude in communities, because the nature of a good idea is that people replicate the idea, right? And so that's really what we're trying, and that culminated in Stockton in an urban farm in Southside, and from doing lots of one-on-ones with community members. That was a real concern, and there was a real talent area of town of people that knew how to grow things, but they couldn't participate directly in the economy in other ways as easily. And so why don't we leverage that and then teach them business skills and entrepreneurial skills? So the image that people have of the Latino in the valley is that's a person picking my tomatoes or something, or harvesting grapes. No, they can be the business owner. Own the business.
Now, what were some of the challenges that you faced in order to achieve that goal, to establish Puentes and to teach that community?
Well, that's still an ongoing process, and that'll never end. So there are always goals and challenges. The biggest challenge working in this community for me has been really changing the paradigm of how we see hunger, and really taking the focus away from a Band-Aid approach, trying to get at the root of the problem, which is city planning issues, and people being able to provide for themselves instead of well, my kid went to school today, I get a bag of groceries, which meets an immediate need, but it still perpetuates cycle, if I'm making sense.
You are.
Yeah.
Now, where West Stage is because I visited maybe a couple months ago, and it still didn't look like a garden yet.
Yeah, exactly. So first of all, it's not a garden. It has a garden in it operation. So it's Boggs Tract Community Farm, and we have a 5-year business plan, and we're building the farm out year by year according to our business plan. This year, our goals are to get an agriculture program up and running and serve 25 customers, and also to sell produce to some local businesses that have made agreements with us that they will buy from us, to get 30 families gardening on their plots and learning about gardening, to have anywhere between 50 and 100 organic chickens, and start raising chicken eggs, and to have our composting program in full swing. And actually, if you start getting into composting and looking at, for example, worm compost, there are people in this area that are selling a 5-pound sack of worm compost for $20 and above, 60 some odd cubic yard. So there's a lot of potential there. Our goal is to generate somewhere between $18,000 and $20,000 by the end of this year, and then to continue doubling that minimally in every following year. And so the biggest thing we've learned is starting a farm is not easy. It's a lot of work, and there is a ton of work in that farm, but it's all in the capital outlay. It cost us almost $11,000 just to put irrigation lines in that thing.
Wow.
Yeah, and we couldn't use a lot till we put a fence around it. There's over 8,400, I believe, feet of lumber, untreated lumber, that we've built boxes out of. And so that is a product of a lot of work. Everybody wants to jump to the end result, but you have to build toward that, and I'm looking forward to a really productive year. We have our main crop area in the farm planted, more or less, and we're finishing the boxes in the back for crop production. So we are making progress. We're on our way, yeah.
Now, I know you have participated with different organizations and different, but what is the one thing that you enjoy the most?
Well, the one thing that I enjoy the most, wow.
Everything, did you just enjoy everything being outdoors, I imagine?
I find it fulfilling helping people and advocating for things that can't advocate for themselves. Like this morning, you know, I spent 4 hours cleaning out the Calaveras River channel on Wilson Way, where nobody will go do a river cleanup because they're scared to. We pull a lot of stuff out the river, you know, but the fish aren't going to be able to clean that out of there. And, you know, our local government has invested quite a bit of money, actually, in improving fish passage.
So it's the little things that you enjoy?
Yeah, it's the little things.
That make a big impact.
And seeing somebody build their confidence as a future leader. I really enjoy developing leaders as well. I'm trained as a PICO organizer as well, and leadership development is very important to me. And that's another thing you find missing in a lot of advocacy work, I think, is that we spend too much time getting people together, be activists, and act on an issue, and not enough building people up as leaders to continue advocating for themselves on a more prolonged basis.
Empowering people and giving them that.
Yeah, well, I don't like the word empowering either, because it implies that I have power and you don't, and that I'm giving you some of my power. Well, I really think of it as helping bring people to the self-realization that we all look at each other eye to eye.
Okay. No, I know in the last note you are very fluent in Spanish. Still surprise a lot of people when you start talking in Spanish, and do you enjoy it, the language, the culture,
I love Latino culture. I really love Panama. I hope to go back there someday. I have lots of very close friends and family there. Panamanian. She was born in Panama.
Cool.
Yeah, so I learned the hard way in the school in Knox. I learned as Peace Corps volunteers showing up there with 7 little kids running around circles with me, and me just saying, "Sí." Como no?
Well, thank you for being with us and sharing, a little bit of who you are and what you do and what you're going to be doing in the